Nobesuthu, very good morning to you. Now, when we last touched base on this case, very little was known about the victim. She hadn't been identified yet. Has there been any movement in the story?
Well, Yuveka, just moments ago, I did send out an email to the Chinese embassy requesting them to give us an interview today, or even if it's a statement, just to find out who were the victims and did they have a shop or own a business in Delft, because now that the state is adding this extortion charge to the four suspects now, it might, or rather it does sort of confirm some of the claims that were made by community members in Gugulethu when they said that the intention, or they thought that the intention behind this particular kidnap was intended to ask for a ransom from the families of the victims. But what we know is that last week the state did ask for a postponement, confirming to court that they have a fourth suspect. But we are expecting to hear the backgrounds or the information of the suspects. What were they doing before, if they do have previous convictions this morning. But that will all be presented in court once we go inside. And we also did get an opportunity to visit Barcelona last week, where we went to the actual house that is believed to have been where the victims were kept. And when we spoke to some community members, they were telling us that that particular house has been reported of keeping, or rather having people who engage in illegal activities. At some point there were cables that were found there that they believe that they were stolen either from the trains, but they were saying that that house and criminals in the area, they do use that house as a hideout, and they've been asking the police to actually intervene even if they demolish that particular structure, but nothing has been done so far. And they were very skeptical to speak on camera, because they're saying that they're not sure who are other criminals in the area, because when we were there we did see that there are people who are residing in that house, but we're not sure who they are.
All right, Nobesuthu, so the fact that they've now, they're looking at extortion or a possible ransom claim, does this mean that they're not investigating, authorities are not investigating the possible human trafficking ring that we were also chatting about the last time, the possibilities then that may be what this case was about?
I mean, that information will be revealed in court, Iveka, because what we want to find out from the Chinese embassy is that whether these victims are visitors in the country, or they were residing in the country, or they owned a shop in that particular area of Delft. But at this stage, we cannot really confirm whether a charge of human trafficking will be added, but you know of the murder, robbery, kidnapping, as well as the fourth now, that is extortion, that has been added by the state.
What do we know of these women and the families? Do they come from prominent families? Any information that we have on why they were particularly targeted?
Well, at this stage, I will await for the correspondence from the Chinese embassy, because we did ask that they give us an interview, a comment, just to get an idea who these victims were and what were they doing in the country and what were they doing in that particular area of Delft. But we will await for that information, and then we'll be able to sort of like understand also the court proceedings today as to why these suspects had targeted these particular victims.
All right, Nobesuthu, can you just take us back to how this all came to be? How was it that these women were actually found? We understand, yes, the one that they believe had been killed, one trying to escape her kidnappers. Had all three tried to escape and were found by somebody? Just take us back to how it all came to light.
So what we understand about this particular case is that the two victims were kidnapped on the 25th of September in Delft, and according to police reports, they were then taken to a particular house in Barcelona, in Gugulethu area, where they were kept there. But the suspects, yes, they were arrested on the 3rd of October, and police, when they got there, they did mention that the body of a 51-year-old woman was found there, and they believe that she might have been killed while she was trying to escape her kidnappers. And they were then investigating the charges from the 3 suspects that were arrested of murder, kidnapping, robbery.
All right, Nobesuthu, very quickly for us, what are we expecting to happen in court today? What is this appearance for?
Well, last time they were expected to make a bail application, but the state then asked for a 7 days postponement, adding that there might be a possible 4th suspect. And from the previous court proceedings where we attended, they did mention that they found a 4th suspect. And today we are expected to hear where they will confirm whether these are the actual perpetrators of this particular incident, and what prior convictions do they have, and what led them to actually target these victims.
All right, Nobesuthu Hejana outside the Bellville Magistrate's Court. You'll continue to keep us updated on this story.